Hi, welcome to my reading vlog. This video I'll be reading, or I was reading Katabasis. This is actually like the billionth time that I've made this video. It was just a lot of technical difficulties this morning. So I was a little frustrated, but you know what? It's okay. I'm only 20% of the way through the book, and I read most of it at work, so I wouldn't have been able to vlog it anyway. It was just about maybe an hour's worth of me actually reading. So we'll backtrack. It's fine. This is this Katabasis. So Katabasis is about two scholars, Alice and Peter, that are enrolled at a postgraduate magic program at Cambridge, and they traveled through hell together to retrieve the soul of their dead Professor Grimes. The way that Professor Grimes is described in this book so far is that he's just the best of the best in the magic industry, and it's like Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada, where although she's a bit of a toxic character, if you can stick with her long enough and not completely piss her off, she'll take you very far in your career. Same concept here, to the point where Alice and Peter are willing to literally drag him through hell to get those letters of recommendation. He's held in very, very high regard, and he is explained as a bit of a toxic character. And the way that magic works in this world is very scientific. It's very factual. It's not like ACOTAR where it's a flick of the wrist and then magic happens. It's comparable to being in a med program where you have to be extremely educated to even practice magic or to even understand it or grasp the concept, because they talk a lot about like philosophy, linguistics, physics, math. What else? It's very like magic works this way when X, Y, and Z are set up in this space at this time using this formula and algorithm, and it's they make it seem like magic makes sense, but you have to be extremely smart to make it work. Yeah, I think that's the best way to explain it. The book does hurt my brain a little bit because then they're trying to describe like the terrain of hell. Not really terrain, just the fact that it's not a flat surface. They were talking a lot about like the curvature and like hyperbolic space and convex this, and it was it made me feel a little dumb, but I was able to move on from it. The gist of it was that to get from point A to point B, although it looked very close by, it was in fact very far away because of the curve, and they were talking about we got to get up to a high point so we can see what's going on, and I just glossed over that part and hope it sucks. I did I do wish that I understood it because I want to read it the way that the author wanted to portray it, but at the same time it is above my reading level. And in the grand scheme of things, I think as long as I understand that hell is not simple to travel across and that they're gonna face challenges, then I think that's good enough. We'll see. I'm only 20% of the way through, so I'll let you know if my comprehension skills become an issue. Um, but the first few chapters that I did read at work, I took pictures of the pages that I wanted to talk about. So, oh, this is fan art that I found online. It's by Clara Exmoor, something like that. Okay, so this first one, they were in hell and they came across like these beings that are stuck in limbo, and I believe, if I remember correctly, they were stuck in limbo for a while, and so they're just talking about like, why don't you guys just move on? Like, you get reincarnated, right? And they're saying, for instance, once reincarnated, we can end up doing something like, I don't know, working rice paddies in China, milking cows in Arkansas, agreed the more intact girl, mining diamonds in Africa. Now look here, said Alice, that's rather prejudiced. Being an idiot. Being an idiot, all four shades shuddered, a quivering mass of jelly. Oh, the horror. Oh, to not be clever. And one of them wailed, what if you never learn to read? I just thought that was funny, because true, like, although you're stuck in limbo, what if your reincarnated self is worse off? So worse off that what if, like, in your next life you're stupid? You're not clever. You can't read. So I thought that was funny. Okay, so here's another funny part. In hell, Alice and Peter are trying to scale a wall, and Peter's scared of heights, so he's freaking out. And Alice is from Colorado, so she's totally climbed walls before. And she's done rock climbing, she's done all that stuff, so it's not unfamiliar to her. And she's trying to calm him down, and she's saying, it takes a lot to fall. Alice hauled herself up to sitting, then reached out to pet his knee. Trust your body, you're not going to fall. What she didn't tell him was how common it was to slip, or how good it felt when you did. The shock of the release, that split-second moment when you lost all touch with the wall, when all your supports gave. The subsequent weightlessness. The thump. Like, the thump? Back in Colorado, people were always flinging themselves off the rock wall in various embarrassing positions just to make their friends laugh. Okay, listen, I'm an adrenaline junkie, but the fact that she just described it as like, oh, when you're climbing and then that moment where you slip for a second, don't you love that feeling? Like, no, that's what. I don't know what happened. I. All right. Morning. This is next day. Hopefully, I have better luck with filming today. I also filmed this part yesterday and it didn't work, but I'm going to make myself some iced coffee. So, let's see. Let's head over to my coffee slash bar. I don't know where I'm going to put you. But that looks, you can't see that here. Ooh. That's really good. All right. I'm going to go get the office ready and then I'll probably do a get ready with me where I do my makeup. And then I have to run errands. And then we'll be on the couch reading Katabasis. Okay, bye. Hi, I'm back. I'm just gonna do my makeup and get ready, and then, like I said before, run errands, and then come back and do some more reading and vlogging. So while I do my makeup, I'm gonna watch this little animated book summary of One Dark Window by Chapters in Chaos. I love these animated book summaries. I think they're hilarious. All right.
Actual entity called the Nightmare. He speaks in rhymes, because why wouldn't your mental parasite be a slam poet?
Mental parasite. That is such a good way to put it.
They have a sort of in her own head. By now, Elspeth and the
Can this
Card
go on your
Collectors
lips?
Club have fully embraced their role as the kingdom's most stylish
It's the
fugitives.
Fenty
They've got a growing
cream.
stash of Providence
I
cards
use it as
and an
blush,
ever-tightening
but
deadline, and more trust issues. People are disappearing, animals are acting weird, and the whole kingdom has that something's about to explode energy. Perfect time for Raven to be even broodier than usual. Elspeth's relationship with the Nightmare is evolving, and by evolving, I mean he's showing up in her head more often, speaking in riddles and making it increasingly clear that his definition of
that
hell
doesn't work.
probably ends.
Alright, that's it. I'm gonna go fix my hair a little bit, and then I'll probably finish what I was talking about in the vlog yesterday, since my computer turned off in the middle of it. Be right back. Hi, I'm back. So last time I tried to make this video, my computer turned off. So I'm gonna try to pick up where I left off, which was when Alice and Peter are trying to scale the wall, and Peter's panicking, and Alice is like, it ain't no big deal. She, to herself, is thinking about how good it felt during that split-second moment when you lost all touch with the wall and all your supports gave, the subsequent weightlessness. And I was just thinking, that's concerning. Listen, I am an adrenaline junkie and I would love to bungee jump someday. I love roller coasters. I love doing stuff like that. But what she's explaining here is very concerning. Like, homegirl's not okay. And I don't know what the thump is supposed to mean. I don't know if it means like falling. But yeah, those of you that rock climb and stuff, is that a thing where if you're doing really good and you have a grip, but then for a second you lose your grip, is that like exciting for you? I don't know. I just thought it was funny. Thought that was interesting. I failed to take a picture of the page number, but I might have found a typo. I'm not sure. Either I'm dumb or I found a typo. Could go either way. So the text reads, she's Alice is saying something to somebody, and it says, "So what puts in you in this court?" Because like the different courts of hell, depending on what, not like sin, but kind of what your go-to evil, what your go-to bad thing that you did, like you're selfish or greedy or whatever, that'll determine which court you go into. So she's asking what this person did to get themselves into this court, but no matter how I read it, it doesn't make sense. Like at all. Where is it? So what puts you in this court? So what puts in you in this court? What puts in you in this court? I feel like it's supposed to be, so what puts you in this court? Right? I tried to Google it, but the only, what is it called, a publishing error? The only publishing error that this book has are the ones in the special edition books, and I don't have that. I have like the plain non-sprayed edges, and I couldn't find anything, so I'm not sure. Let me know. This is really early on in the book. I'll eventually go back and look for it and let you know what the page number is. Just thought that was interesting. And so, and then the next thing I wanted to show you guys is that throughout the book there are these italicized pages. It's usually like a page or two, maybe three, and I think it's supposed to mimic an excerpt out of a textbook because it's always the text is always giving us more information about the magic in this world. So the first one was on magic, the second one's on reincarnation, then the next one was on chalk. So this one is on reincarnation, and they just talk about how the page number is on there. I'll just do this. Make my life a little easier. Ha. So it's talking about reincarnation and what does time look like when you're being reincarnated over and over again. And then it goes into saying Tartarologists disagree wildly over how reincarnation works. How long must one wait before rebirth? Is rebirth familial? Does your dead grandmother become your daughter? Do karmic goodness and badness accrue over time, so that the virtuous live better and better lives? Can one ever escape the cycle of reincarnation, as the Buddhists hope? Can human souls be reborn into animal bodies? For that matter, do animals have souls at all? We know memories are washed clean between lives, for there is no record of anyone credibly remembering a past life. We know very little else for certain. Must we balance the karmic scales, lose an eye for an eye, and suffer as much as the suffering wrought? How many hours in pits of boiling water balance out a murder? I didn't understand half of that, but for the most part, I feel like it's just talking about how does reincarnation and karma and all that work. So following that line of thought, let's say in this life, I was a bad person. Like, I committed crimes, I was a murderer, or whatever the case may be. Does that mean that in my next life, for the sake of balance, I live a good life, or for the sake of karma, I live a worse life to be punished for my sins in my previous life? So, I just thought that was a super interesting concept. And then, actually, later on, the next italicized excerpt is on chalk, and I had already decided that this was going to be a spoiler free vlog just because the book is still fairly new. And I had recorded it, but the mic was off and I was blurry. But let's just say when I read it, there was like an oh shit moment where Alice and Peter overlooked something really important. Let's just say that. And I'm very curious to see what their journey is going to look like, given that they overlooked this one thing. And honestly, that's it. Not much. I'm only like 20% of the way through the book, but those are my thoughts so far, and that's just kind of how the book reads and what it looks like. So, all right, here in a minute, I'm probably going to move over to the couch and get some reading in today. Hopefully, filming that goes a little more successfully than it did yesterday. See you. Okay, so this is a couple of days later. I did end up going to the couch to read, but not for long. I it was so boring. I I regret to inform you that I'm gonna DNF Katabasis. It wasn't meant to be. It's really boring. I couldn't get into it. It's just I did not fall in love with the book. I did not fall in love with the characters. If anything, I do like Peter more than Alice by like a little bit, but honestly, they have no personality. If anything, Alice keeps saying that Peter's really condescending, and I really think Alice is the condescending one. But then she also says that Peter's like one of the most positive people she's ever met, and I was like, that sounds really conflicting. And I was like 30% through the book, and I still don't have a grasp of these characters, like what their traits are, what their beliefs are, what they stand for. And it was so boring. It and the book does read like a textbook, and it doesn't help that it's on like stark white paper. I heard from somewhere though that it is supposed to mimic a textbook, and that's why the paper is like so bright. But and then the whole point of doing this video was that I wanted to read Katabasis so that I can go to the book club discussion at Stack's Book Club. Because I've never gone to one. I've never done anything like that before. I thought that would be really fun. And the next book I was interested in was Katabasis, but uh I forgot that you're supposed to RSVP to those. So I went to RSVP to it and I got waitlisted. So I just don't think it was meant to be. And I couldn't do it. It's too hard to read, it's too boring, it's not interesting. The author had the right idea. I feel like it was poorly executed. I don't know. I don't know. Now I'm sad. I committed like a whole reading vlog to this just to like not finish it. Oh well, it's okay. I'm also just really excited to reread Quicksilver because tomorrow is the Brimstone release, and my sister and I are gonna go line up at Target and get the Target edition one. So I'm gonna start my Quicksilver reread tonight. I don't intend on finishing it at all. I just wanted to at least get started and get back into the world. And then that way when I get the book, at least when I get Brimstone, I'll be even more excited. So that's all. If you made it to the end, sorry I didn't finish the book. Good luck. Bye.